Here we go. They don't have an identity. There you go. They don't have an identity to me.
And you know what? Simone's right. Bump the Jazz. Hawks still at 8. What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Matthews and
Symone. Jalen Mills is somebody that I get behind.
I'm not even gonna cap on DeAndre Hopkins. He has the best hands in the league. Played through it.
Hobbling on back to the field.
Right. I'm saying when you one of the best teams out there, you know, the other team's division ain't got no choice but to try and get like you. You dig?
So let's get right into the video.
Let's go.
What's up? What's happening? What's popping? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another great episode of Tough Calls with your girl, SymoneWithTheSports.
And your boy Dylan, either.
So make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. Keep rocking with us. Check out the links down below. The first link is going to be to buy a coffee to help fuel our channels. The second link is to shop the official Simone with the Spizzords merch collection. Get you the classic tee, wavy tee, or the brand new Jalen Beck and Hurst tee. What you doing? You just poked me in the ear.
My bad, Amy. So I was trying to model your tee for you.
And the last link is subscribe to our podcast, Tough Calls, where me and Dylan have some of your favorite sports analysts, reporters, former and current athletes, drop those in the pot. And lastly, turn your notification bells on because you know our videos are coming like boom, 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 boom. And you don't miss a single video. So today, Dylan, tell them what we talking about.
Today, we are breaking down the NBA power rankings via ESPN or ESPN or whatever you want to call it.
Who calls it that?
Some people. Not a lot, but you know, I just wanted to say it, so that's it.
Okay.
But anyways, we are breaking down the NBA basketball power rankings, so we're gonna get right into it. We're only gonna give you the top 10 because I mean, if you're not top 10, what are you doing?
What is it doing?
So here we go.
And both of our teams are in the top 10.
Both of our teams are in the top 10.
And our bonus team.
Huh?
LeBron.
Oh. LeBron.
So first of all, you blocking LeBron James.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Anyway, so
be back there.
This is the ESPN rankings. So we're gonna give our reaction to the ESPN power ranking, and we're gonna say, of course, we're gonna say whether we agree with their position or not on the power ranking.
Right.
So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Number one, should we go from bottom? Nah, they already gonna know. Let's start from the top. I think it's more juicy from top to bottom. Anyway.
Yeah, it's more juicy for sure.
Number one, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
We both agree. Do you agree? Now they added Paul Millsap in the offseason. One of your favorite former Atlanta Hawks, Paul Millsap, was with the Denver Nuggets. Who else they added? They added Paul Millsap. They added LaMarcus Aldridge came back from retirement, and they added James Johnson. So they definitely went in and tried to shore up that front court.
So they added Paul Millsap, and like you said, James Johnson along with Blake Griffin, who's already there. LaMarcus Aldridge coming back, so they got a nice little slew of power forwards over there. A little bunch of spores. They'll be able to stretch it out, play big a little bit if they want to. So you know, and then obviously got KD, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. So a good mix of vets. Not too many young players. I mean, you can really put the Lakers or the Nets number one. You can make a case for both. So I'm not mad at the Brooklyn Nets being number one. So I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with the Brooklyn Nets being number one. And like you were saying, you could add, if the Nets are fully healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, we know that the Lakers fully healthy have all-star wise LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russ.
Right.
But a fully healthy LeBron, AD, and Russ is just not a fully healthy KD, James, and Kyrie.
It's not the same.
In a league when you're filling it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because honestly, I love Russ's all-around game, but when it comes to buckets and clutch time, I'll take Kyrie, James, or KD over Russ.
That's true.
You just got all those guys in the Nets that can spray if they're fully healthy. But yeah, you can go with Nets or Lakers, but I'm going with the Nets if they're fully healthy.
And it really just depends on if you favor a team that's better defensively or if you favor a team that's better offensively. If you favor a team that's better offensively, then you would go with the Nets at number one. If you favor a team that's better defensively, then you would go with the Lakers at number one.
Well, now that you say that,
because the Lakers are better defensively.
They are, and that's why I'm going with the Lakers. I know I just said the Nets should have been number one, but now I'm thinking about it. When it comes to clutchness, I'm going with the Nets.
Right.
Their big three is clutch.
Yeah, they all got ice in their veins.
Yeah, all of them have ice in their veins. They're three dogs on the Lakers, but clutchability, if that's the term.
Yeah.
They have more
They're
clutch.
better at making clutch shots. Yeah.
But if we're just taking at face value the defense that the Lakers bring and what they're able to do offensively,
right.
I would take the Lakers.
Right.
But it's close.
It's close. You can make a debate for either one. So if the Lakers would have been number 1, can't be mad. If the Nets would have been number 2, can't be mad. I mean, if both these teams are healthy, you got to think, honestly, these two teams are going to be in the NBA Finals. So there you go.
Now I'm thinking we should toss ESPN's power ranking and do our own.
We can.
Because we don't even agree with number 2.
I mean, we don't, but I mean, we can. But, I mean, we can go with what they have and say and make our own at the same time.
Okay, so right now ESPN has the Lakers number 1. The Nets number 1. Tough Calls has.
I'll put the Lakers number 1.
Yes, we both agree. The Lakers are number 1, and Tough Call land. So that's one where we differ with ESPN's power rankings. So ESPN power rankings have the Nets number 1. Tough Call power rankings have the Lakers number 1. ESPN power rankings have the Bucks number 2, the defending champions. Now they lost PJ Tucker. They added Grayson Allen from the Grizzlies. Grayson Allen, former Dookie. One thing I want to say, we both do not agree with the Bucks at number 2. But one thing I want to say, Grayson Allen, I like that addition. He got that dog in him.
He do, and he's coming from an Atlanta Hawk fan. I mean, he's obviously had his run-ins with Trae Young, and he gets on Trae Young's nerves, and he's just a pesky defender, but he does play hard, and like you said, when he got that dog in him, can fill it up a little bit. He can shoot from 3, so he's a nice little 3-and-D piece for any team. So it's definitely a good addition for the Bucks. Like I said, gives them a stout defender. He's not necessarily, he's no PJ Tucker, but he kind of adds that PJ Tucker-esque element.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So ESPN Power Rankings has Nets number 1, Bucks number 2. Me and Dylan are already verging off of that. Tough Calls Power Rankings has the Lakers number 1, the Nets number 2. So when we move to number 3, ESPN has the Suns number 3. They added Shamit from the Nets. Obviously, they had their struggles, their woes when it came to the playoffs last season. They have the Suns number 3. Do you agree?
I disagree. I will move the Bucks down to number 3 instead of number 2. And I put the Bucks at number 3 out of respect of them being the NBA champions. I mean, they're the defending champs. They earned that at least 3 spots. I feel like if you come off NBA championship, you got to at least be number 3. So I put them at number 3 just because they won the NBA championship. They're keeping pretty much everybody. Added Grayson Allen. So Bucks are respectably at number 3.
I'll have to agree. I'm putting the Bucks number 3 as well. The thing about the Bucks, if their guy, obviously Giannis and Chris Middleton, I know a lot of people are saying they benefited from injuries in the playoffs from other teams, but Giannis and Chris, when they are fully on, they're scary. Giannis is unstoppable, and the Suns, big men, didn't show any sign of being able to stop Giannis or Chris Middleton for that matter.
And we can't forget about Drew Holiday either.
And Drew Holiday.
He's the one, arguably, that got them over the hump.
Definitely. Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Chris are all still there. They're all still dogs. And the Suns never showed that they could stop them. And they didn't bring in somebody that could. They want to blame it on DeAndre Ayton, which is fair, but they didn't make any change.
Yeah, no.
So what's going to change from last season? Exactly. So I totally agree. The Bucks need to be at number 3 on this power ranking. So the Tough Calls power ranking, Lakers, Nets, Bucks. ESPN power ranking right now is Nets,
Bucks,
then Lakers. That'll be a new.
That'll be a big old new for Tough Calls.
So at number 4, the ESPN has,
the Suns.
Well, I feel like we just addressed the Suns.
Because we did. We just talked about the Suns.
I don't know why I said they said something about Shamit though already.
Well, that's because we were just talking about the Bucks. I mean, we were saying because the Suns are at 4, right?
Yeah, the Suns are at 4 on ESPN Power Ranking.
And what we were just what we're talking about, the Bucks should have been at 3, and obviously they played them in the finals. So that's why that came up.
So the Bucks. Okay, so ESPN has the Suns number 4. It just gets tough because when we get to the back of the list, i.e. the Suns, then we have the Jazz. The Jazz suffer injury.
Yeah.
The freaking Nuggets had injury. The Heat are a brand new team.
Yep.
The Sixers had front office drama, and Ben wasn't playing like Ben. The Hawks caught fire late.
Mm-hmm.
So
and possibly could have made a run to the finals.
Exactly.
You know, if Trae Young wouldn't have got hurt, I know that's all speculation, but still, it's a fair point.
Klay Thompson's back.
Klay Thompson's
so I just don't know about the Suns.
Yeah.
And since this is, I mean, I don't know about the Jazz or the Suns. I don't know who I'm putting at 4 because this is an East and West compilation.
I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck with you, Simone. I'm gonna put the Golden State Warriors all the way up at 4. They're at number 10 on the ESPN list. I'm gonna spoiler alert that Golden State Warriors number 10. I'm bumping them up all the way number 4 because I feel like they have been highly disrespected. The only case is Klay Thompson is back. Besides losing KD, they haven't really lost any major pieces. The core is still there. You still got Steph Curry, who him and Draymond Green both missed time. I mean, Steph Curry didn't miss too much time, but Draymond Green missed a bunch of time. They didn't have their young stud James Wiseman for a long time as well. And Steph Curry showed that he can put a team on his back because that is what he did last year. He was in the MVP conversation for a reason. That Golden State Warrior team, after all the injuries they faced, they had no business even being in a play-in game, and they made it to the play-in game. That was all because of Steph Curry. Okay, so they're gonna have Steph Curry. We're gonna see what happens with Andrew Wiggins. He might get traded, but he could also stay. If they keep Andrew Wiggins, if Klay Thompson stays healthy, along with Draymond Green, I don't know what is Kelly Oubre still on the team. I can't remember if Kelly Oubre is still on the team, but if he is, that's a good piece as well. And then their young big man and James Wiseman, who was progressing and going in the right direction until he got hurt. I mean, he was actually playing really, really well up until the point he got hurt. He was getting better and better and better. Draymond Green really took James Wiseman under his wing. The Golden State Warriors are going to put the NBA back on notice. When they're fully healthy, they're a championship caliber team. Now, I don't know if they can bounce the Lakers. I don't think they have quite enough firepower to go to the Lakers because the Lakers are heavy beefed up. But the Golden State Warriors, don't be surprised if they're in the conference finals this year.
See, I agree with all your statements. And I definitely have Golden State under the Suns. If we were doing a, Western Conference only, I definitely have Golden State over the Suns.
Right.
I'm just not sure about Golden State at number 4 overall. Just because we have this new revamped Heat team.
I know. The only reason I don't put the Heat.
No, and I agree. And I feel like, the Golden State Warriors, we got to remember, Klay and Steph and Draymond were doing it before KD. Yeah. Then they got Wiseman, they got Wiggy acting better, Wiggins acting better. It's just so tough when we get to number 4 because, like we know, this Miami Heat team is brand new.
Yep.
You got Bam getting better, Jimmy getting better. They added Kyle Lowry.
And they still got Duncan Robinson,
Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo.
Yep, we gotta see if he can stay healthy too.
And if you're talking about putting teams on their back, I know a lot of people want to hate on Jimmy Butler.
He put that Miami team on his back last year too and got them in the playoffs.
I just don't know. When it's number 4 overall, like I said, it's tough because we're mixing the East and the West. I don't know 4 or 5, 4 who I want to put, Golden State or Miami Heat.
Well, let's think about it like this. If the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors were playing a 7-game series, who would you pick?
Dang. Listen. I would take the Warriors because they got the best. Which team has the best player on the court? The Golden State Warriors. The best player is going to be Steph Curry.
And in basketball, it's not like football where you can have the best player on the field, you can still lose because your team is not complete.
We obviously bumped that out.
Yeah.
They have the Heat at number 6. We obviously have the Heat at 4 or 5.
Now I gotta put this. I'll go into number 5 now. I'm gonna have to put the Suns at number 5.
Wait, no, the Heat is 4 or 5. Heat and Warriors are 4 or 5.
Heat and Warriors.
We're at 6.
Okay, so we're at 6. Now I'll put the Suns at 6.
So you're gonna put the Suns at 6?
Yeah, I mean you gotta respect those Suns. I mean it's Chris Paul, D-Book. They still got. And those guys last year, they were young. And that was their first taste of the playoffs too. DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, even D-Book, like all of them. And I mean, they still got Chris Paul who's in his prime. They still have a lot of good pieces.
I agree with you.
So I gotta put them. And then I mean, they did make it so Western Conference Finals. The injuries granted and all that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't have them. The Lakers would have made it. LeBron James probably never sprained his ankle. Sorry, guys.
And still on top of that, I still gotta add in. Just look what they did during the regular season. They did amazing during the regular season. So in the playoffs, like you said, young guys get in the playoffs. Sometimes they get cold feet. So we have the Suns at number 6.
Suns at number 6.
At number 7, the ESPN has the Nuggets at number 7. I might have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The Nuggets deserve to be there. Getting Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter Jr. I mean, he really took over when Jamal Murray got hurt. I mean, Jokic obviously did what he did and won the MVP, but I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was a huge part of the reason they had a little bit of fall off and they were figuring things out with Jamal. But once they got their sea legs after Jamal got hurt, Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic were, a big part of the reason they made it as far as they did without Jamal.
Definitely. I have to lock them in at 7. The way they tightened up and still balled out with 50% of their best player. Jamal coming back, that's definitely going to mean a lot for the Nuggets. So Nuggets locked in at 7. So number 8 on ESPN is the 76ers. Now, take this into account. We don't know what the heck Ben's going to do.
Right.
If the Sixers aren't trading for Damian Lillard, if it's not a trade where the Sixers lose Ben and add Dame,
they're getting worse.
And no. The only point guard at this point who is on the market for getting traded that can improve the Sixers is Dame.
Yeah, and from all, I mean, I don't have no sources, but from
that's probably
everything
not happening.
Yeah, it looks like Dame's staying in Portland.
So there's no other point guard that's going to get traded. The only other guard I know that want to get traded is John Wall. Yeah. And you bring in John Wall, we're worse.
Yeah, he's making you worse. I'm sorry. He's not a defender. I mean, he can score, but I mean, he's not even the scorer he once was. I mean, y'all will still be a playoff. The Sixers will still be a playoff.
They'll still be a playoff, but
y'all are gonna be worse.
Off the strength of EMBIID. But at number 8, we're talking number 8. I'll have to put in the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes, man. You already know what's going on. Hawks at number 8. We stood pat, and with the whole Ben Simmons situation, I mean, we were better than the Sixers then, and we're better than the Sixers now. So why would we be below them? I don't understand.
So we both agree number 8. Number 9. Who though? Could it be
number 9? The Jazz.
We forgot about the Jazz.
Okay.
The Jazz? No, the Jazz. You put the Jazz over the Hawks?
Yeah, I put the Jazz.
I'm actually not putting the Jazz over the Hawks. And I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I like the Jazz, but the Jazz just doesn't seem like they move. I don't even know how to explain this because something that makes sense in your head but doesn't necessarily explain it.
Yeah.
The Jazz just doesn't give me a unit. They like the Hawks, they're giving me like a band together. And when you're like all banded together, top to bottom, that surges you past because you have that camaraderie. And I'm not saying anybody on the Jazz has beef. The Jazz just don't have. Here we go. They don't have an identity. There you go. They don't have an identity to me.
And you know what? Simone's right. Fuck the Jazz. Hawks still at 8. What y'all saying?
Yeah, I like the Jazz. And that's why it's hard because of the Eastern and Western Conference. But the Jazz just don't give me. I don't have an identity from the team.
Right.
And they just stale to me. They don't have an identity.
Yeah, and like you said, it just seems like they got a bunch of individuals. Like you have Donovan Mitchell, great. You have Michael Conley, great. You have 6th Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson, great. In basketball, one player means a lot because it's just there's only 5 players.
So you're
right.
At the time. Since you made that case, we're going to put Golden State. And Klay Thompson's going to come back for a vengeance.
Klay Thompson is ready to ball out. He's been missing basically 2 years, 2 full seasons of NBA basketball. He's been in the lab working. He ready to come back and remind everybody that, hey, I'm Klay Thompson and I'm still elite. Remember,
the only reason why Steph got the MVP was because of all the work I did.
And
didn't get credit.
And then this is the guy who can score how many points did he score with 11 dribbles, 60 something points.
And lock down everybody on the other
side. And guard the team's best player a lot of the time. At least the ones on the wing.
Okay, so we have Lakers number 1, Nets number 2, Bucks number 3, Warriors number 4.
Yep.
Number 5, can we both agree it's the Miami Heat?
I think you have to put the Miami Heat right there. And
hold on. So ESPN has the Jazz at number 5. I'm not sold on the Jazz. I'm not sold on Rudy Gobert. Like I said, amazing, great guy. But I just don't know in clutch time. I just don't know.
I honestly,
I just don't feel like they all have that spunk together.
They don't, and I feel
it's just a bunch of good individual guys.
And I feel like the Miami Heat. I know you can say what you want about the bubble, but that was still good experience. And I feel like Kyle Lowry's gonna help really be the glue. The only reason I don't have the Miami Heat hires is because I haven't seen it yet, and I want to see it first. But the Miami Heat have a bunch of dogs.
They added Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, Markieff Morris.
Dog.
They already have Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson.
If that team stays healthy, they're scary.
And you're talking
and
about,
Simone,
I'm thinking about bumping them over.
Nah, I'm not gonna bump them over because
we gotta remember. Kyle Lowry's old, but that man is a dog.
No, I agree. Their team is full of dogs, and Jimmy Butler is the head dog, and he got.
Is he now, Kyle?
I mean, they'll coexist.
Yeah, they'll coexist,
and they'll get along just fine because they're all dogs.
They'll get along fine, but I'm saying that in a compliment to the Heat, I don't think it's gonna be any alpha head bumping.
Right.
But Kyle, in my opinion, might be the best player on that court now.
Nah, it's Jimmy. And Kyle is more of his heyday, yes.
But leadership, decision making.
Leadership, yes. I'm saying the just best raw talent.
Kyle is out his prime, of course. But think about the decision making from
that's Kyle
Lowry.
That's Kyle.
He's going to defend.
All that's Kyle. Yeah.
The ball handling. He's going to fill it up. He's going to make extremely great decisions.
True point guard now.
A point guard. A floor general.
No, the Miami Heat gonna be scary. I'm scared of the Miami Heat because they in the Atlanta Hawks division.
Okay, and my thing is, we said Warriors are saying at number 4 because they have the best player in Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But outside of Steph Curry, and I know it's Steph Curry, you can't just outside Steph Curry. But that Miami, we gotta remember, Victor was hurt last season.
Is he gonna stay healthy though?
Now is Clay gonna stay healthy? We're doing this whole list. This whole list is just assuming everybody stay healthy. Because we can break down this whole freaking, whole thing would be a shambles if we talk about injury.
Yeah, that's true. But
top to bottom though, the Heat is so freaking deep.
That is very true. That is very true. But I still would take the Warriors just because I like their big 3 better than the Miami Heat's big 3. So,
I agree with your take, but I'm adding. Okay, we got the big 3, but then who's behind them?
No, and
depth.
That is very true. And then you could say the same thing. I mean, both of us can relate. I mean, we would have took the 2 best players for Philadelphia against the 2 best players for the Atlanta Hawks, but because the Hawks were so deep and because they were playing better, I mean, obviously. But
so it's tough. Y'all let us know what y'all think. 4 or 5. Warriors and Heat are interchanged on our thing. Yeah. It's a tough call right there.
I'm going to say Warriors. I think Simone.
I don't know. Yeah. They're side by side in depth chart. Yeah. I just don't know.
Right. You can make a case for either one.
Now, they have the Jazz at number 5. We obviously bumped that out.
Yeah.
They have the Heat at number 6. We obviously have the Heat at 4 or 5.
Now, I got to put this. I'll go into number 5 now. I'm going to have to put the Suns at number 5.
Wait, no. The Heat is 4 or 5. Heat and Warriors are 4 or 5.
Heat and Warriors
We're at 6.
Okay, so we're at 6. Now I'll put the Suns at 6.
You're going to put the Suns at 6?
Yeah, I mean, you got to respect those Suns. I mean, it's Chris Paul, D-Book. They still got... And those guys last year, they were young. And that was their first taste of the playoffs too. DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, even D-Book, all of them. And I mean, they still got Chris Paul who's in his prime. They still have a lot of good pieces.
I agree with you.
So I gotta put them in. They did make it to Western Conference Finals. The injuries granted and all that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't have them. The Lakers would have made it. LeBron James probably never sprained his ankle. Sorry, guys.
And still on top of that, I still gotta add in. Just look what they did during the regular season. Yeah. They did amazing during the regular season.
They did.
So in the playoffs, like you said, young guys get the playoffs. Sometimes they get cold feet. So we have the Suns at number 6.
Suns at number 6.
At number 7, the ESPN has the Nuggets at number 7. I might have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The Nuggets deserve to be there. Getting Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter Jr. I mean, he really took over when Jamal Murray got hurt. I mean, Jokic obviously did what he did and won the MVP, but I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was a huge part of the reason they had a little bit of fall off when they were figuring things out with Jamal, but once they got their sea legs after Jamal got hurt, Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic were, you know, a big part of the reason they made it as far as they did without Jamal.
Definitely. I have to lock them in at 7. The way they tightened up and still balled out with 50% of their best player. Jamal coming back, that's definitely gonna mean a lot for the Nuggets. So Nuggets locked in at 7. So number 8 on ESPN is the 76ers. Now, take this into account. We don't know what the heck Ben's gonna do.
Right.
If the Sixers aren't trading for Damian Lillard, if it's not a trade where the Sixers lose Ben and add Dame,
they're getting worse.
They're getting worse. And no. The only point guard at this point who is on the market for getting traded that can improve the Sixers is Dame.
Yeah, and from all, I mean, I don't have no sources, but from
that's probably not happening.
Yeah, it looks like Dame's staying in Portland.
So there's no other point guard that's going to get traded. The only other guard I know that want to get traded is John Wall. Yeah. And you bring in John Wall, we're worse.
Yeah, he's making you worse. I'm sorry. He's not a defender. I mean, he can score, but I mean, he's not even the scorer he once was. I mean, y'all will still be a playoff. Yeah. The Sixers will still be a playoff.
They'll still be a playoff, but
y'all are gonna be worse.
Off the strength of Embiid. But at number 8, we're talking number 8. I'll have to put in the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes, man. You already know what's going on. Hawks at number 8. You know, we stood pat, and you know, with the whole Ben Simmons situation, I mean, we were better than the Sixers then, and we're better than the Sixers now. So why would we be below them? I don't understand.
So we both agree number 8. Number 9. Who though? Could it be
number 9? The Jazz.
We forgot about the Jazz.
Okay.
The Jazz.
No,
the Jazz. You put the Jazz over the Hawks.
Yeah, I put the Jazz.
I'm actually not putting the Jazz over the Hawks, and I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I like the Jazz, but the Jazz just doesn't seem like they move. I don't even know how to explain this because you know something that makes sense in your head, but doesn't necessarily explain it.
Yeah.
The Jazz just doesn't give me a unit. They like the Hawks. They're giving me like a band together, and when you're like all banded together, top to bottom, that surges you past because you have that camaraderie. And I'm not saying anybody on the Jazz have beef. The Jazz just don't have. Here we go. They don't have an identity. There you go. They don't have an identity to me.
And you know what? Simone's right. Fuck the Jazz. Hawks still at 8. What y'all saying?
Yeah, I like the Jazz. And that's why it's hard because of the Eastern and Western Conference. But the Jazz just don't give me. I don't have an identity from the team, and they're just stale to me. They don't have an identity.
Yeah, and like you said, it just seems like they got a bunch of individuals. Like you have Donovan Mitchell, great. You have Michael Conley, great. You have 6th Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson, great. It just and they make it to the playoffs.
They'll be a good team.
They'll be a good team. Like they were fighting for the number 1 seed for a long time.
Yeah, they were.
But it just don't stick.
Yeah, something about this. You see how we forgot all about them?
Yeah, we did, exactly. And yeah, it's just, nah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll develop an identity.
Maybe.
But they just don't give me an identity right now. I said there's no beef. Remember Donovan called out Rudy.
He did call out Rudy.
COVID. Remember when COVID first started and Rudy coughed over the thing? So maybe there is something going on.
Right.
So we got the Hawks at 8, Jazz at 9. Who's our number 10?
Sixers.
Put
the Sixers at 10.
Just off the strength of Joel Embiid.
Off the strength of Joel.
Yeah.
I mean, he did everything. He did everything he could in that Hawks series. He did everything he could. And you made a good point in one of your other Sixers videos. Matisse Thybulle is getting a lot better with his shot.
Matisse Thybulle is getting a lot better. We still have Seth Curry who's still going to fill it up. The big question is that point guard position. What the heck is going to happen there?
Andre Drummond, you got better with
Andre Drummond. We add more offense off the bench with Andre Drummond.
And we lose. Scoop up every single rebound when he
Exactly. Charles Bassey. So we have depth behind Embiid. It's just not Embiid and Dwight. And Dwight, amazing defensively, but doesn't add much offensively. We changed that.
Both.
And Andre can do both. And then we have depth behind Andre and Charles Bassey. We know Seth is going to fill it up, shooting 60% from the field in the series against the Hawks.
You got George Niang, a good little role player too as well. A nice little stretch forward.
Matisse is only getting better. TYRESE is only getting better. It's just that starting point guard. We don't have a starting point guard. We just don't know
Right.
what the heck we're gonna do.
Right.
And if we do keep bid and he sits out,
that's not.
that answers everything. And if we do keep bid and let's say he plays, it stinks it up.
Then that's no good.
That's no good. So the Sixers just have too many
what ifs.
Well, they just have one big
what if. Yeah.
But
when your second best player is a what if, that ain't good.
Right. Who's supposed to be arguably a debatable is who's better, and he hasn't been.
Yeah.
We obviously know Embiid is better, but it's supposed to be debatable.
And it hasn't.
And it hasn't been. So that's our top 10. We have the Lakers, Nets, Bucks,
Warriors,
Heat.
Warriors, Heat, 4 and 5.
4 and 5, interchangeable.
Suns were 6.
No, they weren't.
They weren't? Yeah, they were. Suns were 6.
No, Warriors, Heat.
Yeah. And
The Suns were 6. The Nuggets were 7. Hawks 8. Jazz 9.
And
Sixers 10. So that's the tough calls power rankings. This was the ESPN power ranking that we ain't like. They had Nets, Bucks, Lakers.
They got it all.
Suns, Jazz,
All jumbled up.
Heat, Nuggets, Sixers, Hawks, Warriors.
All jumbled up.
All messed up.
How you put the Hawks below the Sixers? We just beat them, bro. Come on now.
They got it all messed up. Guys, this was Tough Calls with Simone with the Sports.
Hey, your boy Dylan Matthews. Yes, sir.
Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you leave a comment. Subscribe. Keep rocking with us. Till we talk to you guys next time.
Peace.